Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about a definite sign of autism. It's a classic trait, and we'll see if it's one that you have coming up. Today is not starting off as I planned it, and it's making me feel very agitated because I like my day to go a certain way, and when it doesn't, it's hard for me to adjust. So mentally, I'm just flip-flopping when we like things to go the way we want them to go, and then they don't. It can make a mental block for us, and that's how I'm feeling this morning. So I found myself stimming just to try to regulate my emotions, and that's what stimming does. It regulates our emotions when we're upset or anxious or nervous. It's a coping mechanism. So that's what the topic of this video is about today. Sameness of routine as autism classic trait that we may have. Even though my day was going to be different, I needed to have some positivity about it. So I felt like if I did the dishes, which were in the sink, it would make me feel better to see my environment was clean. So I decided to tackle that to help me feel better in some way. So it was about lunchtime, and I decided to have a peanut butter and honey sandwich because it's something that's part of my normal routine. So I'm curious how many of you relate to where you just have to eat the same thing every day. Comment down below what's the same food you eat every day. So what is that classic trait of autism that you're wondering if you have? Well, it's sameness, the need for sameness, the need for a routine, the need for control in our lives, in our environment. Knowing what comes next, right? Okay, so I thought this might be something you would want to follow along with and read with me that kind of explains this. So according to the Kennedy Krager Institute, individuals with ASD tend to crave sameness and loathe change. That was my morning, loathing the change that was happening in my day that was not going to be the same. We have a tendency to do or think about the same things over and over. And if doing so were a comfort or a compulsion, as if doing so was a comfort or compulsion. This is known as insistence on sameness. On sameness. On sameness. Insistence on sameness is a component or variant of restricted repetitive behaviors, a core feature of autism disorder. I know some of you don't like the word disorder, so we'll say it's a core feature of autism. It is characterized by extreme behavioral rigidity, where things must be just so, and change is not tolerated. Individuals with ASD also tend to become upset when there's a break in routine, or when it is time for transition from one activity to another. Some individuals with ASD have actual rituals where certain things must be done in the exact way every time. Maybe you can relate to that going back all the way to your childhood. Maybe you had to put your stuffed animals on your bed a certain way or organize them a certain way. Maybe you had just a shelf for your dolls and a shelf for something else like trophies. I had a lot of that going on in my room where things were organized and put in a certain area. Nothing wrong with that, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that kind of attention to detail and needing to organize our things. I think that's great. So let's go ahead and see why insistence on sameness happens to be a classic trait of autism. If you're looking in the DSM-5, it tells severity is based on social communication impairments and restrictive repetitive behaviors, patterns of behavior for either criterion. Number 1, stereotyped or repetitive motor movements, use of objects or speech. Example, simple motor stereotypes, lining up toys or flipping objects. Echolalia, idiosyncratic phrases, repeating the same things, what you've seen or heard on the radio, seen on TV, repeating those things over and over, or just repeating in general. Number 2, insistence on sameness, inflexible adherence to routines or ritualized patterns of verbal or nonverbal behavior. Example, extreme distress at small changes. Difficulties with transition, rigid thinking patterns, greeting rituals, needs to take some same route or eat the same food every day. That is so me to a T. It's not even funny. Number 3, highly restricted fixated interests that are abnormal in intensity or focus. Strong attachment to or preoccupation maybe with unusual objects, Maybe you have had the same hobby your entire life, the same love for something. For me, it's been photography since I was a child, making videos, even in the 80s when we got our first camcorder, having to make home videos and movies. And also, if you are not able to have that same routine, I think there can be an increase in stimming behavior. You may notice yourself stimming because you are trying to subconsciously, I think, calm yourself or regulate your emotions, which was what I noticed myself doing when I was making some hot water to put into my oatmeal. Just a natural thing for us. So I am glad I am aware of these things, whereas I've spent years and years not knowing any rhyme or reason to my behavior. So being aware now and being able to try to talk to myself rationally when I'm having situations where I can't have the sameness in my day or the sameness in routine. I try to the best of my ability to do things in my day that I normally do, as many of those as I can, even if I can't do them all in that day. It does help. So even though my day didn't go as planned and I didn't wake up getting to do exactly what I like to do, and plans changed. My son got a job. I had to drive him to work. Everything changed. Now, the more we are not able to have our routine, it can, for some people, lead to meltdowns. And we all know about this. And you go for maybe several days not being able to have your routine due to unforeseen circumstances, or perhaps you're on vacation, or there's an illness in the family. It can be very hard for us. We have to find ways to do what we can, as much as we can of our normal routine to stay sane. But this was just the topic I wanted to talk about today because I was experiencing this today. And so it was on my mind to talk about it. I hope that this video has helped you. I am on a learning journey of my autism and how it affects me after being diagnosed 2 years ago. And comment down below if you experience the need for sameness and routine, and how do you cope when you're not able to have that same routine that you normally have. How many of you notice I'm left-handed? It's all in the details. Fun fact, I took home ec the last year they even offered it at my school. The only thing we sewed up were some pillows for our bed. I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm very excited that I'm close to 1,000 subscribers to this channel, and it just means a lot to me. It's been a two-way relationship. Me giving you content and you're giving me feedback. It really means a lot. Getting to know you on a personal level, hopefully build relationships and understanding for autism. So if you enjoy content about adults specifically with autism, please go down there and subscribe. That is what I talk about on this channel. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Bye.